Even though he passed away more than 4 decades ago, Elvis Presley remains an indelible icon in the hearts of his fans. But recently, a shocking revelation from the FBI about his legacy has shocked and moved the world. After all, what secret has been hidden all these years? Let's discover this surprising truth. FBI uncovers new shocking details in Elvis Presley's estate. Federal investigators have exposed a complex fraud scheme targeting Graceland that shows disturbing details about an attempt to steal the iconic property from Elvis Presley's family. The case has brought new attention to the connection between the Elvis FBI files and the Presley legacy, showing both historical and current threats to the family's assets. The FBI found a sophisticated deception that Lisa Jeanine Findley, a 53-year-old Missouri woman, coordinated by creating false documents. She made up loan documents claiming Lisa Marie Presley had borrowed $3.8 million in 2018 and used Graceland as collateral for the loan. She also forged Lisa Marie's signature on multiple legal documents, along with a Florida state notary public's signature. Court records show that Findley filed a fake creditor's claim with the Superior Court of California in Los Angeles and submitted a false deed of trust with the Shelby County Register's office in Memphis. She took the scheme further by publishing a made-up foreclosure notice in the Commercial Appeal, one of Memphis's daily newspapers, announcing she would auction Graceland to the highest bidder on May 23. The investigation found that Findley used many aliases, including Lisa Holden, Lisa Howell, Gregory Norseny, Kurt Norseny, Lisa Jeanine Sullins, and Carolyn Williams, to carry out different parts of her scheme. She created a fake company called Norseny Investments and Private Lending LLC to act as the supposed creditor through these made-up identities. The forged documents had major flaws that led to their exposure. Kimberly Philbrick, the Florida notary whose name appeared on the documents, stated in an affidavit that she never met Lisa Marie nor notarized any document for her. When faced with mounting evidence, Findley tried to shift blame by claiming a Nigerian identity thief was behind the fraudulent activities. The Department of Justice says Findley made use of these false documents to threaten foreclosure on Graceland unless the Elvis Presley family paid or settled the made-up claim against the estate. These documents were part of a larger pattern of fraud that Findley had used in other schemes. Riley Keough, Elvis's granddaughter and Lisa Marie Presley's daughter, was quick to protect her family's legacy by filing an emergency lawsuit to stop the fraudulent sale. Her attorney, Jeff Germany, told the court there were significant serious allegations regarding the authenticity of the documents that claimed her late mother had borrowed money using Graceland as collateral. Keough's lawsuit denied her mother's involvement with Norseny Investments, stating that while the documents bear signatures that look like the signatures of Lisa Marie Presley, Lisa Marie Presley did not sign the documents. The legal papers called the documents products of fraud and suggested those involved should be guilty of the crime of forgery. The family's legal action worked. Chancellor Joe D. Jenkins issued a temporary injunction on May 22 to block the attempted sale. A supposed representative of Norseny Investments said the company would drop its claims on Graceland just hours after this court decision. This case is the second time Keough has gone to court to prove she's Graceland's rightful owner, following an earlier legal dispute with her grandmother, Priscilla Presley, in 2023. These repeated attempts to take advantage of the Elvis Presley estate have put huge emotional and financial pressure on the family members who protect the legendary performer's legacy. The FBI's involvement shows how serious the threats to celebrity estates can be. The Elvis FBI files had documented many extortion attempts against Presley while he was alive, but this scheme stands out as one of the most elaborate attempts to target his family's assets since he died in 1977. Authorities continue their investigation to find any other accomplices or victims connected to Findlay's fraudulent operations. Behind the dazzling aura of Elvis Presley were hidden dangers that few people knew about. Declassified FBI files have exposed the serious threats he faced during his career. How did Elvis overcome these dangers? How Elvis Presley's FBI files reveal a pattern of threats. The declassified Elvis FBI files tell a disturbing story of threats that followed the king of rock and roll from 1956 to 1980. These 663 pages explain the challenges one of music's biggest icons faced and how federal authorities protected him. Elvis Presley dealt with many extortion attempts that needed FBI help long before the recent Graceland fraud scheme. A well-documented case happened in late 1959 when Elvis served in the U.S. Army in Germany. Lawrence Johannes Griesel Landau, a South African man who falsely claimed to be a dermatologist, tried to blackmail the singer after giving him skin treatments. Court records show Elvis confronted Griesel Landau about making inappropriate advances toward his entourage and possibly Elvis himself. The fraudster then threatened to expose Presley by photographs and tape recordings, which are alleged to present Presley in compromising situations. Elvis had already paid Griesel Landau hundreds of dollars for treatments and ended up buying him a plane ticket from West Germany to England. Military authorities kept things quiet instead of going to court because they did not want to involve Elvis Presley nor put him in an unfavorable light, since Presley had been a first-rate soldier and had caused the army no trouble during his term of service. There's another reason for concern: a paternity suit filed by Patricia Parker, who claimed Elvis had fathered her child. The case went on for years and created lots of negative publicity. Elvis wouldn't settle and made a famous comment that the woman must have gotten pregnant with a Polaroid camera because all he did was take a photo with her. His legal team later filed countercharges, stating that Parker had conspired and willfully entered into a scheme or plan to wrongfully extort money from Elvis Presley. Death threats were also part of Elvis's life. A particularly scary 1956 message stated bluntly, "If you don't stop this now we're going to kill you." The FBI also had to break down kidnapping plots against the singer during his Las Vegas performances. Elvis's relationship with federal authorities went beyond just investigating threats. He made a notable visit to FBI headquarters in Washington, D.C. on December 31, 1970, the same day he met President Nixon. During his visit, Elvis praised FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover and said he had read Hoover's books, including Masters of Deceit and A Study of Communism. He called Hoover the greatest living American. Hoover didn't meet him personally, mainly because of Elvis's rather bizarre personal appearance with shoulder-length hair and exotic dress. The Bureau managed to keep good relations with the star anyway. Elvis wanted to become an FBI informant during this visit. Internal memos show he offered to share confidential information about individuals and groups in and outside of the entertainment business whose motives and goals he is convinced are not in the best interests of this country. The Bureau could reach him using the pseudonym Col. John Burroughs at his Memphis address. Elvis shared some controversial views with FBI officials too. He blamed the Beatles' filthy, unkempt appearances and suggestive music for many problems American youth faced. He saw himself as someone who could connect with anti-establishment young people despite his limited education. Both sides got something from this relationship. Elvis received protection from real threats, while the FBI gained a high-profile supporter during culturally challenging times. The irony: a decade earlier, worried citizens wrote to the FBI about Elvis himself. One parent in 1956 called him a definite danger to the security of the United States. These records show that the current FBI investigation into fraudulent activities targeting Elvis Presley's estate builds on a long history of federal protection that started during the star's lifetime and continues protecting his legacy today. Even after Elvis Presley's death, Graceland, the iconic home of the music legend, has not escaped the attention of would-be scammers. What makes this sacred place such an attractive target for scammers? Why Graceland remains a target for fraudsters? Graceland ranks as America's second most famous home, right after the White House. Its iconic status and huge financial value make Elvis Presley's estate an attractive target for fraudsters who want to profit from the king's lasting legacy. Lisa G9 Findley's recent scheme adds another chapter to the long list of attempts to take over the Presley family's assets. The massive worth of Graceland attracts many fraudulent schemes. Elvis Presley's estate value ranged between $400 million and $600 million in 2020. Recent estimates put it at $718 million, with some experts saying it could reach $1 billion thanks to Elvis's widespread cultural impact. The estate makes money from several sources, with Graceland at the center. The property draws 500,000 to 700,000 visitors each year and brings in about $10 million annually. Joel Weinshanker, who manages Elvis Presley Enterprises, puts it simply, people have been trying to take from Elvis since Elvis was Elvis. The estate owns rights to about 650 songs that earned roughly $12 million yearly in royalties over 3 years. Graceland's importance grew after it joined the National Register of Historic Places in 1991. The cost of keeping this cultural landmark runs high about $500,000 each year in taxes and upkeep. These expenses sometimes create weak spots that opportunists try to exploit, especially after Lisa Marie Presley died and complicated the estate's finances. The FBI files show many past attempts to exploit the Presley family's wealth, starting during Elvis's life. Colonel Tom Parker, Elvis's former manager, arranged several schemes that took money from the star. One time, Parker made a deal with a Las Vegas casino to clear his gambling debts by making Elvis perform an exhausting schedule. In 1973, when RCA Records bought Elvis's master recordings for $5.4 million, Parker took much of the money and eliminated future royalties for Elvis's family from pre-1973 recordings. These early schemes set a pattern that continued after Elvis died. Graceland became a prime target for deed fraud and property scams. Real estate experts point to several reasons why criminals target the property. Jeremy Miller from Allstate Identity Protection explains that properties like Graceland face risks because, when there's a lot of documentation flying back and forth, some red flags might be missed. FBI data shows that while real estate scams remain rare, 9,521 reports in 2023, properties with deceased owners face bigger risks. The person behind the recent Graceland scheme told the New York Times they mostly targeted homes belonging to the dead and elderly, especially in states like Florida and California. The COVID-19 pandemic created more problems. Graceland either closed or ran at lower capacity, which caused sharp drops in revenue. Tennessee state-issued bonds tied to tourist money defaulted, creating an opportunity that scammers like Findley tried to use. Riley Keough, Elvis's granddaughter and current owner of the estate, wants to protect Graceland despite these challenges. She said in a 2024 interview that she plans to keep running the property and maintain the mansion in the Presley family, carrying on her grandfather's legacy despite constant threats from those who want to exploit it. How the FBI and USPS investigators cracked the Graceland scam. Federal authorities found fraudulent attempts to take over Graceland and started a shared investigation. This work exposed one of the boldest schemes targeting the Elvis Presley estate. Several agencies worked together to break down the complex web of deception that Lisa G9 Findlay had created. The U.S. Postal Inspection Service, USPS, teamed up with the FBI's Memphis field office in an unexpected way. USPS, the country's oldest federal law enforcement agency, has authority over mail-related crimes. This authority became vital in this case. The postal inspectors focus on mail fraud, financial fraud, and identity theft, the exact crimes Findlay committed in her scheme. Fame and money are magnets for criminals who look to capitalize on another person's celebrity status, explained Eric Shen, inspector in charge of the USPS Criminal Investigations Group. In this case, Ms. Findlay allegedly took advantage of the very public and tragic occurrences in the Presley family as a chance to prey on the name and financial status of the heirs to the Graceland estate. Postal inspectors got involved after Findlay used mail services to file fake documents with multiple government offices. They found she had used post office boxes in Jacksonville, Florida, Hollister, Missouri, and Kimberling City, Missouri, as business addresses for her made-up company, Norsany Investments. Her use of postal facilities to help commit fraud put the case right in the USPS jurisdiction. Court records show that USPS issued many subpoenas during their work. They gathered evidence from witnesses and financial institutions. This detailed paper trail connected Findlay to the fraudulent activities. The investigation team found several pieces of evidence that linked Findlay to the fraud. Forged notary signatures. Florida notary Kimberly Philbrick gave an affidavit. She stated she never met Lisa Marie nor notarized any document for her, which proved the documents were fake. Post office box connections. All Norsany Investments business addresses led back to Findlay's post office boxes in Missouri and Florida. Digital footprint. NBC News looked into the Norsany name and contacts from court filings. The digital trail pointed to Kimberling City, Missouri, Findlay's home, not Nigeria, as she claimed. Financial regulation checks revealed more damaging evidence. Norsany Investments had no registration with the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. This proved it was a fake company created just for fraud. Special Agent in Charge Joseph E. Carrico of the FBI Memphis field office explained the bigger picture. Today's announcement of charges and law enforcement action shows our broad approach to investigating allegations of identity theft and mail fraud, which can affect people from all walks of life. The evidence against Findlay was overwhelming. U.S. Marshals arrested her and sent her to Memphis to face charges. The Department of Justice picked trial attorney Aaron Henricks of the Criminal Division's Fraud Section and Assistant U.S. Attorney Carol L. Andre Roman III for the Western District of Tennessee to prosecute. Fraud Section Assistant Chief Corey E. Jacobs and trial attorney Christopher Fenton provided significant help. The Elvis FBI investigation showed that even clever fraud schemes leave trails that skilled investigators can follow. Do you think the legacy of legends like Elvis Presley will ever be safe from scams like this? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. We would love to hear from you.